guys, today we're going to build and take a look at the Marvel Legends X-Men series Juggernaut Build-A-Figure from Hasbro. Alright, so here's our Build-A-Figure pieces, and we're going to quickly put them together. There's not really a whole lot to do here. Just peg them all in. So we've got the kind of the lower torso, pegs into the upper torso, and that is a very tight piece. It's kind of hard to take apart once you got it in there. We've got arms, just snap right in. Legs, they attach at the ball joints, obviously. They're also somewhat kind of hard to get in there because they're huge pegs. So we got most of them done, and then we peg the head on, and Juggernaut is complete. So let's take a look at him and just go over articulation, paint, sculpt, all that. So right off the bat, I think he's a pretty good representation of Juggernaut. I've seen a lot of comparisons to the Marvel Select figure. I don't have that, so I can't do a comparison in that regard. But I think he looks really good. I only got one minor complaint about him, and I'll get to that in a second. So overall sculpt, I think, is really nice. You can see they've put some veins in the arms. We've got, chest, pectoral separation is pretty prominent on here. I'm not sure if that's even remotely anatomically correct, but it makes him look really ripped at least. We've got the sculpted bands on the arms and on the hands. Well, the belt is removable. You can take it off. It comes with the waist, the pelvis piece, and you can just pop it off, but it hides that seam for where the parts meet up. And then the back, he's very well muscled. He's a huge figure. So, there is some give in terms of overall detail for what you get. He could be probably a little more detailed, but I am pretty pleased with this figure overall. This is the Build-A-Figure. This wave is what really got me back into Marvel Legends, as you've heard me say over the past few reviews for this wave. So I am pleased with him. I do like him. My one gripe comes with the head. So with the head, the helmet is not removable. You cannot take it off. Well, you probably could take it off, but I don't know what it looks like under there. It's not meant to be taken off. And as a result of that, if you can see, the eyes they seem to be far apart. Like, that doesn't look like the right head. I bet if you were to take that helmet off, his eyes would be about onto the sides of his head almost, and not, kind of centered next to the nose. There is obviously something amiss there. Now, beyond that, the face is really cool. I think it's good. He's got kind of some nasty, dirty teeth with a chipped tooth, which is really nice. The helmet is pockmarked, and you can see it's had some wear. It's got the rivets all around it. So I think it looks good. The only thing that bothers me is that eye situation, and it just something's weird there. I think he's got way too much space in between his eyes. So other than that, I am pretty pleased with the sculpt. Now, as far as paint goes, he doesn't have tons. A lot of this is molded plastic. So we've got, the line work on the torso for the brighter red. That's painted on. Lines are pretty clean. I don't have any real issues except for this one splotch of black here. The bands are painted, and they've got kind of a rusted, metallic type look to them, which they look really nice. The belt has the painted gold on it, and then the face obviously has some paint detail on it. He's got painted eyes, painted eyebrows, painted gums, and slightly painted lips, a little bit bleeding off the gums, and then he's got those painted teeth, obviously. So he does have some paint, and where it's applied, aside from that splotch on the back, I think it's pretty good. The rest is all molded plastic, and it looks good. So I think his look is pretty solid. As far as articulation goes, the head can go all around. He can look a little bit up and down, but that helmet's going to get in the way. The arms can go out to the side, and they can rotate all around. He has a bicep swivel, single jointed elbow, and then he's got a swivel and a hinge at the wrist. He has a crunch that allows him to look over pretty far, and he goes back a little bit, like one click back. He has a waist swivel. That belt can get in the way, so you have to move it. We have got legs that go out just a little bit, not too far. They go forward maybe 80 degrees, and then they go back just a little bit. There is a thigh swivel at the ball joint. We've got single jointed knees, but they don't go back too far, and it's because of the size of the legs. They're is a hinge at the ankle, and then there is a little bit of side-to-side rocker motion. There is no boot cut. So he's not loaded with articulation, but I've been able to get him in some good poses, so I think he's not bad all around in that regard, especially for a figure of this size. Now, obviously, since this is a Build-A-Figure, one thing that should be kind of demonstrated is just how big he is. He's not enormous, but he's definitely bigger than your average figure. So let's take a look at him next to a couple of the other figures in this wave, just to get an idea of his overall size and how he compares to the rest of them. So I'd say Cable is probably the biggest figure in the wave, and Juggernaut is at least a head taller than him, and obviously he's beyond thicker than Cable. So that's one. We've got Wolverine, he comes up just above, maybe just below the pecs. So that size comparison is pretty solid. And then just as another one, because this doesn't fall into this way, but he's a bigger figure too. You can see Captain Britain next to him. So Juggernaut is quite big. He's not humongous. He's certainly not the size of anything from the Toy Biz era. But for a Build-A-Figure, I think he's got some good size, and he fits in well with the characters in this wave. So overall, I'm really pleased with pretty much this entire wave. There are a couple duds: Iceman, Havoc, Jean. They're not the greatest. They're not horrifying, but they're not as exciting as some of the other figures. I think Juggernaut is a good Build-A-Figure to include with this wave. He's obviously a very important X-Men villain, and they did a pretty solid job here. I like the look of the character. I like what articulation we got. Paint on him is pretty clean. The only thing I don't like, again, is the non-removable helmet. Not that I would ever display him that way, but it still would have been nice for folks who would want that. And then, of course, the issue that I've got with the eyes looking just a little too far apart. But other than that, pretty cool. I'm very pleased with this wave. I cannot wait for the next wave to come out. I don't think it's going to be as strong as this wave, but this is set things in place for a really good line of X-Men based legends that I think everybody has waited for too long at this point. So if you haven't already gotten these, most of them are really cheap as of this review on Amazon, save for Deadpool and Wolverine. So you can get most of this dirt cheap at this point. And if you're a Juggernaut fan, this is one to go with right now. So that's going to do it for this review, everyone. As always, stay tuned to Toy Bro for more reviews. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And until next time.